Michael Grady, Yes Network.
Hey, Coach. So you win the first two playoff games at home. In your experience in winning playoff games on the road in a tough environment, what intangibles need to be in place on a team in order to be successful away from home?
Yeah, I think it's the mental toughness of the group, the approach to the game. You definitely never in the playoffs want to feel like you've arrived. You always are going to get a reaction from the losing team. So the Celtics are a very capable team, coming to their home court, lots of playoff experience. We definitely need to have an even better performance in Game 3 to win.
Your plan in terms of how you'll divvy up minutes or who you'll rely on tonight in the absence of Jeff Green?
Yeah, I think the plan would be for Nick to play some more, but we'll see how it goes. It could change during the game, but there's more minutes to be had for Nick, and I think he's more than capable of filling that role while Jeff's away.
Brian Lewis, New York Post.
Following up on that, what is it that you see from Nick for him to solidify those minutes? What are you expecting out of him, and what do you need him to do?
Sorry, Brian, it's pretty low. You said, what have I seen from him?
No, what will you need to see from him for him to solidify more minutes going forward?
His activity, be disruptive defensively with his length and mobility, play with pace offensively, and, screen and roll hard and be a threat at the rim. It's pretty simple. He's a young player. We don't want to overburden him, but we want him to think more in terms of being disruptive with his activity.
Greg Logan, Newsday.
Two things for me, Steve. First of all, have you had any further conversation with Kyrie about his concerns he expressed? And second of all, how critical is the mental component in terms of composure and discipline in these two games up here?
You said the mental component?
Yeah, the mental in terms of composure and mental discipline.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Kai about the fans at all. Discipline, mental toughness, our approach, all those things are one and the same, more or less. So, we just got to come out, be professional, and stay on task and not allow ourselves to look down the road or to feel like we've arrived. We've got a lot of work to do. We got to get better. We're not just trying to win the series. We're trying to improve every night. This team's played 2 games together. Our 9 rotation guys, meaning is what I mean, is played 2 games together. So it's something that we got to continue to build and take advantage of every night, not only for the series, but for our team's growth.
Christian Winfield, New York Daily News.
Hey, Coach, Tatum shot pretty poorly the first 2 games. Are you kind of expecting him to have a bigger game today? And is that going to be something you have to monitor, trying to weather through if he has an early hot start?
Yeah, he's not going to, shoot that way the entire series. He's just too good a player. So, we expect him to play better. He's played pretty well. His shots haven't gone in. He causes all sorts of problems for a defense. So, we respect him. We know what he's capable of. We got to be very diligent with our game plan. And, no matter what they throw at us tonight, we have to find solutions.
Alex Schiffer, The Athletic.
Hey, Steve. Obviously, Robert Williams had that big game 1 for them. And then in game 2, you guys were kind of able to keep him in check more. Just what do you think was the difference in those two, in the first game and the second, that you need to keep going tonight if that's going to maintain, if you're going to maintain that?
Yeah, I think we were, more cognizant of where he was and him, coming over to block shots. But he also, I think we in some ways maybe challenged him at, inappropriate times in game 1. We were a little smarter with that in game 2. But we got to match his energy. He's a terrific shot blocker, offensive rebounder, a capable finisher around the rim. So, he's a very talented player. And for us to match his energy, I think, is the first step.
Tom Dowd, BrooklynNets.com.
Hey, Steve, just circling back to the rotation a little bit. If you do roll with 8, is that something you approach a little differently because it's the playoffs and not the regular season?
Yeah, we there's definitely minutes there for a 9th or 10th person to play. It's just a matter of how the game goes, and I'm not necessarily going to commit to that right now. But you know, you do in the playoffs sometimes have to weather some of these situations. So you know, we're not trying to overburden or overtax anyone. Hopefully, we can spread the minutes out without anyone going into the red zone, so to speak. But you know, it is the playoffs, and so it's about survival at times as well.
Zach Braziller, New York Post.
Steve, how much do you think Jaylen Brown's absence has kind of changes the Celtics? I mean, what have you noticed just about how different they are without him compared to with him?
Well, I mean, he's you know, an incredible player, two-way player. So he's going to obviously hurt their offense and their defense through his absence. So, you know, that's just the truth. You know, he's has a big impact on the game, and when he's out, they're a different team.
Steve Lichtenstein, WFAN.
Hey, Steve, I believe you talked after the last game about the benefits of playing with better pace, not just in fast break points, but gaining advantages in early offense. Is that something that you have to emphasize, or does it come naturally to these guys?
No, we definitely emphasize it. You know, it's important. It's also new. You know, these guys have had very little time together, so trying to find that cohesion in that context is important for us. And you know, sometimes when everything is so new, it takes time for that to become habit. And so we definitely try to, you know, message that to them and reiterate to them constantly about playing with pace, playing together, attacking, and you know, and continuing to play off one another.
Last question, Brian Lewis.
Hey, Steve, I know you said you haven't had any discussions specifically with Kyrie about the fan reaction or what he might presume the fan reaction might be. I'm curious, just have you had casual conversations either with he or Bruce Brown about how much this series is going to mean to them? One guy having played here and the other having grown up here.
I haven't. You know, I asked Bruce if he got to see anybody while he was here, but I haven't talked to him about what it means. You know, I think it probably means more to those two guys, but I think, you know, no matter who we're playing, it's going to mean a lot. It's the playoffs. So I think they're all going to be on guard and ready to go and excited to try to advance no matter who we're playing. But of course, there's probably a little extra meaning for those two.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.